football team. Buses run every 10 minutes. Avoid the traffic. Don't get stuck in the delay. Get Ipswich buses today. A single from only £1.20, a return from only £2. Find out more information at www.ipswichbuses.co.uk. Ipswich Buses, proud to partner with Talking Town. Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and I'm sorry for the delay. It has been my son's birthday weekend this weekend, so normally when I prepare for a show, graphics, what we're going to talk about, introductions to the show like you've just seen there, I normally do it at the weekend, but I didn't do anything. So when I sat down here at 8:27 after doing the Talking Darts and the Talking F1, I realised I had absolutely diddly squat prepared for the show, and as Vicky will testament when she comes on, there I was running around figuratively like a blue ass fly, and the computer equally was not playing ball. It was telling me no. Basically, computer says no, but we're here, we're live, the chat is very busy. I can see you all talking amongst yourself, which is absolutely fantastic to see. Great to see the community in absolute action. We've got Callie Bisler. I will start with this comment here. Sally's about die. I thought it may have been health related, but Norwood's IG post suggests otherwise. I've not seen Norwood's Instagram post. If you want to share it, Callie, please do so, so we can get the bigger picture. I will obviously touch on the Kieran Dyer news. It is sad to see a guy like Kieran lead the football club. Saj, where is Gov? Is he working out what pre-assist are? Pre-assist, Saj, are just where people play football, mate. Simple as that. Do you know what I mean? And how far back do you want to go for the pre-assists? Martin, I'm having to roll up another one now, pal. Come on. Sorry, Kelly. I'm here now. I am here. Yes, Irvin, how was your holiday in Mexico? Thank you for stopping by. Right. Before we go any further, we did have Talking F1 on the platform this evening and Talking Darts. Obviously, we do create extra content outside of the Ipswich Town content to try and make your memberships, your Ko-Fi support go as far as they possibly can. So for $4.99 you get all the town stuff, the F1, the darts, the cricket, the wrestling, all of that. So if you are a sports fan, if you do like any of those, please do check them out. And equally, wouldn't be possible without these wonderful YouTube members and Talking Town fifth standers. If you want to get your name up in lights, if you want to support the platform, if you think this is the platform for you, it gives you the chance to have your say in your own words, however that may be, as we saw live last night, then please do consider supporting the platform. Link is in the chat to do so. And last but not least is, of course, Turbo GT and Victoria Henderson. But yes, please do, if you can, support the platform. It does help us, and as you saw last night, it is live, it is unfiltered, and it's your opinion, and your opinion is always welcome on this platform, whether I like it, whether I don't like it. That's what this is all about. Colin wants to join that. Top news, Colin. Top news. Just got to do it. Matt's DM'd me. I will check that out. We also got Prediction League Week 30 kicking off. 3 games this week. Ipswich, Plymouth, Colchester, Tranmere, and AFC Wimbledon versus Cambridge. Talking pre-assists is on an hour. The day I do Talking pre-assists, you've got permission. No, I'm not going to say that live, actually. No, that's not a good look. Did it give the copper on the show? Talking of which, let's go ahead and bring said copper in. You know her as Victoria, but please do, I have to say this ahead of every show these days, but please do aware, language is most certainly going to offend you and most certainly will be blue. Vicky, how are you?
Good evening. Yeah, all good. All good, thank you.
Good evening. Have you ever been to Mexico?
No. I did consider it.
Did you? Well, Irvin says best holiday ever. I have been to Mexico. It was a beautiful holiday. I swam with dolphins. We went to a private island where you get to drive golf carts around. It's like really expensive crap that you can buy. I'm talking mega expensive crap. You know, it's so expensive that the people buy it just because it's mega expensive. That type of expensive.
Yeah.
You know, they don't really want it. It's like a packet of Rennie, but because it's like $4,000, it's a packet of Rennie they must have. Do you know what I mean?
No, we did look at it for this year, but we have chosen the Maldives instead.
The Maldives.
Yes.
Beautiful. Love the Maldives. Never been, always wanted to.
It's amazing.
Is it really? Robert Wilson, Governors can't apologise yet. He has multiple times, although he did not. It is one big family here. I take it on the chin and I give it back, as you probably saw last night. Kevin Gates, hey Vicky, you okay? Looking forward to seeing you on Saturday. Yes, tell the world you are back. You are here on Saturday for the Plymouth game.
I am. And if anybody is local, we're looking for a good place to eat tomorrow night. Not tomorrow night, Saturday night, because we're staying over. So let me know in the chat.
Yeah, so get your favourite Saturday night restaurants in Ipswich and the surrounding areas. Without giving away your actual location, where is your hotel? Is it in Ipswich, outskirts?
We're going to be at the marina. So
the marina. So
yes.
Waterfront.
Yes.
We have a friend who was on the platform, the Don, likes to take all these dates to a certain location. I can see Neil sniggering in the chat. He knows what I'm talking about there. He can probably recommend a couple of them, to be fair.
Good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Imagine taking all your dates to the same location. Classic. Classic Don. Miller and Carter, says Mark Wolf. You like your steak? Three Wise Monkey, says Ant Still. And Nick Muller says, never go on holiday during the football season. Well, sometimes you've got to. You've got to. Back to the Prediction League while I put the link in, Vicky. Obviously, you are a player within the league. Talk to me about at Colchester versus Tranmere. Obviously, Colchester playing tonight. How would you see that one going?
Is that playing tonight, Colchester?
No,
Tranmere.
Tranmere.
Okay.
They're playing Forest Green right now, but they're playing again on Saturday. So what do you think that's going to be, Colchester Tranmere?
I'm going to say Tranmere is going to win 2-1.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
You don't fancy the Ipswich B team then?
No, they're really shit, aren't they? I mean, they were shit when we had them, but now they're even shitter than shit.
Yeah.
They're clinging on to League Two like that, just clinging on.
Clinging on to League Two. We'll talk about clinging on. We do like to do an on this day on the show on a Monday and a Wednesday. Well, I've got a lovely on this day for you. You may remember this. I'm going to bring Neil Moles on the back end of this. So we're going to see this, then we're going to bring him in. And I want to get both your opinions on this away day. Here we go.
Good enough. He looks at downfield. Can see he's got a...
I'm not going to have the audio because that's when YouTube will tell me off. But do you remember this, Vicky?
Where is it?
This is Watford. Richard Chaplow in the dying embers of the game. So it's lumped clear by J-Tab.
Yeah.
And then Freddie Sears does the hard work. And then he plays in Richard Chaplow. I'm not going to ask you if you were there, but do you remember this game?
Not offhand. No, I've slept since then. You do have a tendency of asking me things that happened more than 24 hours ago.
That's true.
Yeah,
that is the alcohol, to be fair, Vicky. You may want to look into that.
I probably will remember it if I sort of looked into it a bit more, but offhand.
Right, no worries. Well, Richard Chaplow, let's see if this man here remembers it.
Wake up to the, wow. Wake up to the money, turn me right on. You look like you got dressed with no lights on. A Superman that spin like a cyclone. Fit check, spin like a cyclone. Wake up to the money, turn me right on.
Yeah, but we're crap. We're not going to dominate any team.
Well, we've got to fucking change that intro, son, haven't we? Because we dominate every team. You got to change it. Of course, we're not going to score.
I'm saying 1-1.
You're just saying 1-1. Do you remember that game, Mr. Moles?
I do. My coat was stolen.
It was stolen.
Oh, no.
Yes, it was.
But after celebrating, we did end up 2 rows down.
Yes, I was. We were there, weren't we? Me and you. Limbs. I don't know where I ended up. I ended up near the pitch. Literally, my shins were...
Was that the go on, Freddie, go on, son?
Yes, go on, Freddie. Go on, son. Go on. And then it just sort of went in slow motion forever while Richard Chaplow decided which corner he was going to stroke it past Gomez.
The bald eagle.
Oh, yeah. Oh, mate, what a moment. What a time to be alive. What a great away.
Was that when your father-in-law told us a good place to park, but because we left on Rob's timescale,
no,
it was quite a travel?
That
Okay.
one was the Michael Chopra last minute under Paul Jewell. That one. That was.
I've been to Watford too many times.
Oh yeah, but sadly we've not been enough because they've gone that way since, and we've gone that way. I often say
fair
Neil,
dues.
that away day, for how great it was, and we'll get some comments about it in a second. I'd give anything to swap us lose that game and be where Watford are, then have that moment. What about you?
Yeah, well, we'd all love Ipswich to be. So, toying with the Premiership, but it's not to be at this moment. We're trying our hardest, and let's hope it turns around. I'm still glad that I went to that game and we stole a win at the end.
Okay.
It was a good moment.
So you wouldn't swap that moment, that limbs moment, for what?
No, they're the best moments.
Okay, fair point. Roy Clark, I was there in amongst the Watford supporters, and my mate is a Watford supporter. My father-in-law was a Watford supporter. Roy, try that for size. And my brother-in-law's a Norwich fan.
Oh my God.
We don't talk football. Primarily because they're fucking clueless, but we don't talk football.
Do you talk at all?
I try not to be fair.
Fuck, I'd have to divorce.
Yeah. Well, she was a Watford fan when I met her. I've converted her to not liking football at all. That's what Town does to people. She chose the path of not going to football ever again instead of sort of watching Town, which at times I can't blame her.
Fair dues.
Craig at Portsmouth. Me and my wife stay at the Mermaid when we come. Great little pub. Got a good discount for booking our room for the season's home game last season. Do I even talk to my in-laws? No. Try not to, Callie. Do try not to.
Fine. When you were talking about places, were you talking about Pizza Express by any chance?
No. Is that another one he takes his dates to?
There is, yeah.
Fair play.
There were, I think, 2 on the trot.
No, that wasn't Pizza Express. That was
If I was
else.
taken on a date to Pizza Express, I would leave.
Well, she married me in the end. So paints its own story, to be fair, doesn't it? Louis Fenton makes sense after we should have gone for the last few years. Lee Anderson, keep the memory. We'll be back in the Premier League soon. Remember, it's all in the chase. Jordan, anyone watching the Cole U game? No, Jordan! Should be all eyes on the Talking Town, because you never know what the fuck's going to happen. Like yesterday. I don't know what's going to happen. It's my show. Right. Town, at the moment. Let's get a brief moment on where we are. Starting the show, Vicky, we were talking about the football, and it struck me that we're doing well. We're doing okay. We're just not doing well enough. So we're kind of in that really hard period of we're playing good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the football, but then you look at the league table and you just want to pull your eyeballs out.
Saturday was really hard. It was hard to take. I know we didn't lose, so for all the positives out there who'll come at me and say I'm being negative, we didn't lose. So, no. But it felt like a loss, and I just was really pissed off.
Yeah, well, it would do. But I'll flip that, I suppose, Neil. It does feel like a loss. It's the last minute, but in a way, isn't that the great thing about football? I mean, we're not the ones celebrating, but we've had many moments this year where we've been the team that have nicked it, rescued it in the last minute. That's football, isn't it?
Yeah, as already been mentioned, it did feel like a loss. It was a game that, to be honest, we really needed a win, didn't we? And you spoke during the game about the goal, and I actually thought it was quite a good goal. Little move, ball up the pitch, and tap across for a nice little slot in the goal. It was well worked, and nice tidy goal.
Yeah, what I said was, though, to be fair to me, it was I could have scored it with my blue badge. It wasn't like Selena had to do anything.
I'd imagine you and your scooter zooming up the pitch.
There you go, me. Don't laugh at me. There you go.
I can see.
Irvin's got it. Bistro on the Key. That's the one I was trying to think of. Bistro on the Key. Love a bit of Bistro on the Key. Lee Brown in previous years would have taken a point, but we needed to win.
Somebody asked me after the game, would I have taken a point before the game? And I probably would have ish, but I think it's because they scored in the last dying seconds that just, I think, summed up our entire season. It's that almost. We nearly made it. That's what was hard to take.
From a corner, of all things, as well, Vicky.
Yeah.
You know, we've had well over 200 attempts and not got one single goal. And they put a ball in the box and grab it. Stephen Digby, free kicks and corners definitely need improving. And Roy Clark, it's ironic that Oxford got their equaliser from a corner, which we haven't scored from since I don't know when. Probably since you were a wee nipper, Roy. Let's be honest, it's been that long. It certainly feels like that long. The same as the league position, Neil. It feels like I've seen our team in 9th since I learnt to read and write, which albeit was only a few months ago.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what division we're in. We're always floating with mid, you know, there to the mid-table.
Yeah, only just not the top league. I wouldn't mind 9th in the top league. You know, when we're in the top league, it's either really good or it's really bad. We don't do any sort of indifferent in the top league, but the rest of the divisions, you're absolutely right.
I think we just had such high hopes at the beginning of the season that even though the last few games we've shown such promise, and you know we've maintained that position, and it's really good because at one point we were hovering further down the bottom. I just hark back to the beginning of the season when we all had these hopes and dreams that this was going to be it. This was going to be the season that we got out, and realistically, that's not going to happen. I know it's not over yet, but realistically,
no. I'm sure we'll probably hear from people tonight who will say it's not over, and I will ask you the blunt question in a moment about that. But I guess we didn't. Do you think we didn't really appreciate, Vicky, just how badly of a football club we'd become under the previous ownership, and just how far behind everybody we'd gotten?
Oh, it was horrific. I mean, there is a different atmosphere now at the club, I think. Win, lose or draw, we do seem to be enjoying the football more, which is great because we know that there's backing there, and we've got a manager who seems to know what he's doing, and his record is really good as well. A few tweaks in the summer, and I think that we really can be up there. But I'm laughing because we say this every year at this time. Next year, that'll be the one. Here we are.
Well, this is it, and I think he's right, Neil. And I'll ask you the question, because when I did the Talking Darts a second ago with Tom James, he said, "I really hope this season doesn't just turn into another plod where we just plod along to the end of the season." How do we stop that from happening? And does it feel different to previous years? Because I remember this time last year, Paul Cook took charge, given almost a free hit, didn't make the playoffs. Next year will be so much better. You were there for that. You've been there for the previous managers. Just how different does it feel? How do we stop it from being just a plod to the end of the season? And what do you think about what Vicky just said?
I think it does feel different this time around. I think more fans are behind this manager compared to others, where it's been, you know, certain individuals have loved them and others have not. And we're playing well. I know we're inconsistent with scoring goals, and we have on the whole been solid at the back, even though, you know, we did concede one last minute, but it can happen to any team really. It's one of those things. It's about keeping you switched on throughout the whole game and potentially not giving away a corner in the first place.
Do you think that, because like yesterday's show, Matt was criticising the ownership, was criticising Mark Ashton, was criticising the back room, the front office, if you were, Neil. Do you think that's justified, or actually do you think taking a step back from it? I watch every game. You know, Cruncher goes every week. God knows he lets us know about it all the time. But obviously you're somebody who dips in, dips out, etc. through work and other circumstances. Do you think what Neil says here is true, and actually you're seeing it from a different perspective, that the football's better, but the foundation is now a lot more solid, and actually the front office, Ashton and co, have built something that we can now build upon in the second and third transfer window? Yeah,
I think that the owners, well, they've bought land recently, haven't they, for potential improvements in the future. And as a whole, you just feel that they want more for the club than we've had for many years. And having Ashton as well, here's someone you can potentially point a finger at, and in which we haven't had for quite a while now, where you can have issues in the club, and it's pretty much, well, whose fault is it? Who are we even going to? You don't know what's happening, and I just feel it's run a lot better at the moment, and we can go places. The manager we've got at the moment is looking positive, and yeah, it might not work out. We might end up getting a few draws and just ending up slipping away again. So next season, we really do have to drive on with this positive way things are going, and really make a drive for getting out of this league.
There are some people, though, Vicky, some of the more cynical people, I would say, that would say a lot of this land purchasing, new scoreboard, is cosmetic makeovers that are to distract from what will be a disappointing season and not making the playoffs.
I'm not sure about that. I think they always had plans for the scoreboard and bringing in, rejuvenating the area and things like that. Look, we all wanted this season to be different, and it hasn't. But I do agree that next season I think it's a different platform next season. Few tweaks, we'll get a striker that can chuck in some goals, and the defence is solid. And for me, I know I say this every year, but next year it's got to be the one. It's got to be.
That's football, isn't it?
We'll be going up to the Championship better equipped with the ground that's got the scoreboard. It's got lots of things going on for it. It was already a good ground, in my opinion. It's the best, but this will make it better.
Yeah, I didn't realise how far it'd fallen, though, to be fair. When you hear about the training ground facilities being improved and how Playford Road doesn't work for the team, for the management staff, and how it's fallen this and fallen that. I hadn't realised just how far behind we'd fallen. In terms of off the field. I know on the field you could see it clear as day that it was underfunded, underappreciated, without a plan. But it also seems off the field was almost mirror image of what was on it was a product of what was off it, and what was off it was a product of what was on it. And I guess I'm saying I didn't quite understand just how bad the foundation was.
We stagnated under Evans, and looking back,
further and say we didn't just stagnate. We tore down
declined
decent foundations, and didn't tear them down as pull something down. But whereas it was perhaps once state of the art in 2002, it was never upgraded. It was never brought to the modern day. It was just a lick of paint, mend and do. That's what it feels like. And when you hear people talk about our training ground now, you do get the feeling, Neil, that it was maybe.
I think it was heading down ever since with the academy tier. We didn't take the top level because we wanted to. There were potentially. It wasn't needed, and it was a money-saving way to save money. And ever since that moment, and also Keane getting rid of players because he didn't feel they were needed, and then ended up getting rid of both. There was both Wickham and it's just there's been so many things that I don't believe we've had as stronger academy youngsters come through as we've had in previous years.
No, definitely. Lewis Robertson, next season's different. We're actually going to win in with a clear plan and identity. Previous season, we had always had questions, or we're living more in hopes. I think it's what you just sort of alluded to there, Neil. Hope this feels different. No, this does feel different, given we have an identity. Budgie, McKenna's standards far exceed the last three managers, and the players are all brought into it now. We're just a few pieces short of a solid unit. Norman asked what more could Jones have done. No, I completely agree with you, Norman. And if you didn't see yesterday's show, do check it out. Cause I did mention it. I did question him on it. I didn't let it go. I am definitely with you. Saj, lots of positivity around the ownership and management. We are definitely moving in the right direction now as a club as opposed to previous seasons. Chris Wright.
Mine. Sorry to... But as far as that scoreboard thing goes, I think it's stuff that's always needed. I don't particularly see Portman Road with the rose-tinted glasses like others do. I do believe it is a stadium that
his first shot.
is well worthy of some upgrades.
I think it was his first shot across your bow there, Vicky. Rose-tinted glasses. I don't look at it like you. Basically, is what you just said.
Well, see, every time I walk in there, I get goosebumps. I do, because it's home to me, and it's so far away. So when I go, it's my home. So
You're not the only one. There are a lot of people that agree with you. I just don't.
No, you're pessimistic. Lewis Robinson, all part of building foundations of the club. We are where we are because it wasn't working on the pitch first half of the season. Owners and MA have addressed this now, and we have the right man. We've lost 2 games since mid-December. Mike D, I think game changers in my MO at all their clubs is the same. Sustainable progress. Jordan Cansdale. When I last had a season ticket with the best pitch in the championship, and now it's gone to shit. Callie, no, you Case wants to smoke at half time. I want to win games, Callie, but you crack on with your smoke.
Are we playing more games on the pitch? Is that part of the reason?
I don't think so. We might well be. That could be a good question, I suppose. I suppose this year we are, yeah, because you've got the League One, got the Pizza Express, Carabao Cup if you were at home, which I think we were, Newport, albeit only once. FA Cup, we've had 2 games at Portman Road. And you start earlier in the rounds as opposed to the third round. So I guess, yeah, we are playing maybe a handful of games more. And then, of course, you throw in the under-23s and who have to play on the Portman Road a certain number of times, then, yeah, it's just not it's not, I don't know really what the pitch issue is. I've not really drilled
Another thing that gets me with it all is we still haven't got undersoil heating.
Well, that's what
so as soon as it gets a bit cold, the game's off.
That is what they want. Chris Boyd, it's a horrible division. The pre-season favourites rarely make it out come season's end. Come July will be a pre-season favourite. Oh, hang on. Oh. Right, before we bring in some...
Scratch that.
Yeah, before we bring in some fans to have their say on their football team, you can follow their lead by having your say. Click the link, get involved. Live milk microphone to have your say unfiltered. We truly believe that here. That is our MO, and we want to keep promoting that. Before we go any further, let's look at, obviously, Oxford, just gone, Vicky and Neil. I'm going to give you, via SofaScore, some of our best performers and some of our worst performers, and let's just spend a couple of minutes talking about them. So, according to SofaScore, Luke Wolfenden got a 7.6. This is the player that was told he could leave in the summer. How great of a season has he had, Neil, as a centre-half? You must appreciate when you see just how good of a player he's becoming under Kieran McKenna.
I'm still not sure if he stepped up to when we really thought he was at his best. I still don't think he's back there. I felt that he could pick out a ball better, and when he did drive up the pitch, he would be more decisive. He almost, when he does do it now, he almost gets a little bit like, oh, what do I do next? But on the positive, he has improved. And as you say, he was told, you can leave. And he's made a good name for himself in nailing on a spot in the team. And good on him for it. But I still want that little bit extra, and I want him back to where I felt he was.
I absolutely think you're right, and I'm not sure how the chat are going to respond to that, because obviously he has played really well. I'm hearing my sound's not very loud. Thank you, Roy. But I think you're absolutely right. I think you never should stop striving for perfection, and I think McKenna, having worked at Man United, will be doing the same. I do agree, actually. When he steps out of the fence, that's the first part of it. You're doing it really well. Then comes doing something with it and getting involved. Has Burgess's emergence, Vicky, over the last couple of games, and he got a 7.1, albeit the mistake for the goal, but 7.1. Do you think if a money offer came in for a Luke Wolfenden or a George Edmondson, that we're actually pretty stocked, and you wouldn't be rushing out to bring somebody in, because you've got obviously Burgess who would step in, then behind that, and I do think Kieran McKenna is all about player development. Let's look at Luke Wolfenden, developed him, and I think behind that you've got Corey Ndaba out on loan, Elkan Baggott. Do you think if we were to sell a defender to say fund a striker, not that we would need to, but if you did, that you wouldn't see somebody else come in, and you think a young player could step up as a replacement?
I wouldn't want to get rid of the defence, to be honest. At the beginning of the season, I was not a fan of Wolfenden at all. Every time his name appeared on the team sheet, I'd groan inwardly, thinking, well, that's a goal that we've let in. But I think he's really grown in confidence, and I think our back four look really solid and good. And Burgess has come in for Edmondson, and I like Edmondson. I think he's brilliant. But he's come in and he's done an okay job, I think. So I like our defence. I like our back four. I'd like it to remain. The only changes I would say is definitely a striker. As much as Bonnie's lovely and we all love him and he's a fan and all the rest of it is just not cutting the mustard. We need a real striker that can put goals in, and maybe the midfield.
Yeah. But you don't have FFP at this level, and I hope you can hear me now. I've not done anything different, so I don't know why people can't hear me. Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's Cruncher working away at TT Towers, disrupting things. But I get that. But you have got the SCMP, the salary cap management protocol, where you've got to balance books. Yeah, there are ways around it, absolutely, and I'm not going to go into the whole details here, but if you need to fund that striker, Neil, are you, thanks to Cameron Burgess, are you more comfortable? If because ball playing defenders are always in. I don't want to sell anybody. I want to keep everybody and improve what we've got. But that's not realistic, is it?
No. Out of the words that left your mouth about potentially having Burgess and letting Edmondson or Wolfenden go. For me, I wasn't a fan to start with, but Edmondson has really come on strides. And sometimes he does do the odd thing that means that the play, he has to chase back and do the next brilliant bit. But he does that brilliant bit and gets away with it. And there's so many times where he just makes up for other people's mistakes as well. And yeah, for me, he's the solid man at the heart of it. And we're missing not having him there at the moment.
Absolutely. Leandro
isn't quite.
Sorry, Neil, I thought you'd finished.
No, you're right. No, Burgess just isn't quite up to it.
Fair point. Lee, welcome in, my friend. I'm going to ask you off the bat, playoffs. Are they over?
Pretty much, aren't they? Pretty much. We can win 7 games on the trot. Of course we can, but will we? Very unlikely. Very unlikely.
I don't know. You tell me. I'm asking you the question.
That's a difficult ask. It's been a difficult ask since McKenna come in. We all thought, yeah, of course, the playoffs were possible. But, even with the run that we've been on, we're top fourth in the table since McKenna's been in. Got plus 15 goal difference. We've only lost 2 games. But you just can't have that start that we had. The maths are there. It tells us all. Well, we had 3 points after 6 games. I mean, that's just so difficult. I know we had plenty of time, but we had Paul Cook, didn't we? Still. So had we had McKenna after 3 games or after those 6 games, then maybe. But yeah, they're sort of gone, and we shouldn't be too disheartened. I was listening to what Vicky was saying earlier, but we all expected it to be this season. This was going to be the season, and we did. But football is not that way, is it? And Cook has been part of bringing these good players in for League One. They are good players, and
absolutely, yeah.
And he's done his part, as others have said. But I think with McKenna now, we've got that chance to kick on, and I think we will. I'm like you. I wouldn't want to change any of the players that we've got. We can go out and buy a striker. Yeah, we can get another striker who's maybe in form. If you look at the stats of the players and the strikers that we've got, how much money have you got to spend to go get a player better than what we have? And if we went out and got somebody again who's like Piggott, scored 25 goals, whatever it was last season, how many strikers at this level do that the next year and the next year? So sometimes you're almost stumbling across the striker that's going to get you 20 goals. And I think the strikers that we've got, they're all capable of it if they're in the right team, being played in the right way. So I'm not uncomfortable if we went into next season with exactly the same squad.
No,
exactly the same.
I would like to keep everybody and just add to it, as I said a second ago. But it's not realistic. We have to remember we're a third tier team still. We have to.
I think that Jackson. I do like Jackson. I'm glad
McKenna rates him. He'll be getting a new deal. I'm
glad he's picked up a little bit because it was frustrating to see where he had languished, and I feel that it's a hard ask because he's a different type of striker to the others we've got. I feel that we need another one like him. So if we take him off and we want to keep that style still, we need someone that can do a similar job.
Yeah.
But obviously you want to do the little bit extra and you want to find someone like him, but with a little bit more.
Talk to me about Joe Piggott, as you've mentioned him, Lee. And also before you do, tell me a little bit about this silly little feud you seem to have with the fisherman. What I keep?
Well, I don't have a feud with anybody. I just
every time I log into social media, I see you two at each other's throats.
Someone makes a point, and I have a point back. But the trouble is, he doesn't articulate his points, does he? He just rants on, and I try to articulate point. I don't upset anybody. He said I couldn't manage a wank.
I did laugh at that. I did laugh at that reply when he said you. Yeah, I did.
How have you got
he's probably right, but there you go.
I'm not going to ask about your sexual habits, but
that's just fans, and if you're going to make a point, back it up with something. That's all. I try to do that if I come on here. I try to back it up with something.
But I did laugh at that. I logged into Twitter to send Steve the link for the F1 show. And that's the first thing I saw on my timeline, and I did laugh. I was like,
and then the poor old fella. Feels he's all hard done by when people pick on him. But he's the one throwing all the bloody stones. He do make me laugh. I love him to bits sometimes.
Talk to me about Joe Piggott. I think you might be in agreement with the fisherman here.
Pardon?
I think you might be in agreement with the fisherman here. You're going to tell me you don't like it. Yeah, you don't rate him. Is that what you're going to tell me?
That's just been unfortunate for him, isn't it? I think that's just not worked out, and sometimes that happens. But I think I go all the way back to when I came on for the friendly, when I came on the show from the ground when we played Crystal Palace, and he looked good. I thought he was an upgrade, obviously, on what we had last year, and that wasn't difficult. But it's just not worked out for him. He had that chance, didn't he, with his back to goal, and he's let it roll through his legs. He's just, in that moment, in the box, he's just got nothing. It's just not going for him. It's just not falling for him. And I think the first half, I didn't think he had too bad a game. I thought he linked up quite well. And he was bringing people into play. Not all the time. The ball wasn't sticking all the time. But he had we had the wind against us first half, and it shouldn't make a difference at a professional level, but it does, and it did on that game. But when Bond came on, he just put a whole new lease of life into the front line, didn't he? And he that was probably the best I've seen Bond play for a very long time.
Did you say you felt Joe Piggott's hold-up play in the first half was good?
I thought some of his link-up play was good, yeah, he did. Not all the time. As I said, it did bounce off him, but he did link up. He was up against three... Don't forget, he was up against three defenders on his own, and one was marking him. And because of the way the wind was, we didn't seem to be able to get behind them. So they were pushing up. But when we got the second half, and Bond started winning more headers, we pushed them back a bit, and that left the room for Selena and what's his face to, I forgot his name now.
Chaplin.
Chaplin to exploit the space a little bit more. And obviously Morsey started winning the ball. But I think Pigott, I think he'll move Pigott on. Maybe, so, but we'll see. But there's 20 goals in him. And again, he's one of these strikers.
Once, though.
Yes, but this is the point I was making earlier, you see. Who do you bring in? Right. Who do you put a risk at, and where do you spend your money if you're the owners? We've got plenty of money because we can see what we're spending on the ground. But we're in the wrong league to be spending money heavily. So do we go again with McKenna's got these decisions to make, hasn't he? And these are the big decisions, and we're playing great football. I think we are, and I think it's different than it was under Cook. It's another step up. We're in complete control of most of the games. And listening to the report from the Kings of Anglia guys, when they were saying, one of the national newspaper guys sat to them and said he was envious that they can watch this, that they get to watch Ipswich every week. I think we need to take a step back sometimes and look and really see what football we're playing. I mean, what was it? Wickham 5, Cheltenham 5 or something, was it? They got 5-5 with someone, didn't they? I mean, that was Sunday. When you watch all those goals, it was 5-5. Yeah, great game, but it's not football. It's not progressive football that's going to keep you in the Championship.
No,
it's not going to keep you there, and you've got to build. You've got to build that way. So,
do you know?
But the thing is, Lee, you've got to score goals to win matches, and we've been lacking this for the last 2 seasons. And if we can't score, it doesn't matter how pretty we play and how lovely the passes are. We're not going to get the scores. We're not going to get the points. And if we don't get the points, we don't get the prizes.
What the most common scoreline in football is? Because the Athletic did a run the results from 2000 to present day to find out what the most common score in football is. Can you ever guess?
Is it like 1-0?
Spot on the money. It's 1-0. The most common score in football is 1-0. We all like the 5-5s because we don't see them very often. That's why we like them. But it's the most common scoreline in football is 1-0. So, we are laying foundations in place for that.
I mean, you are right, Vicky. That you have to score more goals than the opposition, but you can keep them out from the other end as well. But I think you've got to always be 2 goals up, haven't you? You've got to be. Yeah. You need that second goal, and we didn't get that second goal on Saturday when we were probably on top, and we had a couple of chances to get that. But that that happens, and I saw people saying, "Oh, it's typical us conceding in the last minute." We've not conceded that many in the last minute under McKenna. In actual fact, we've seen games out pretty well, I think.
That's true.
So, out of all the games he's playing, and he says, and I believe him, that if we keep doing the things that we're doing across 46 games, you're going to be in that top 2, top 4, top 6, whatever.
Before I let you go, I'm going to bring somebody in.
Your mate.
I don't know what's wrong with him.
Well,
I wish I'd got popcorn.
He ain't got them pink earphones. He ain't got those pink earphones on, has he?
No, he's fishing at the moment. Mike D, before I do, I agree with Ando. I'm as peed off as anyone about our league position, but K-Mac has us playing the best football we've seen since 2000s. Let's let McKenna bring his own players in this summer. Fisherman! How you doing, fella?
Yeah, I'm good, yeah.
Good stuff.
Had an interesting day on Twitter.
Yeah.
It's been like dangling maggots, mate. It's hilarious.
Talk to me about this thing you've got with Lee going on. What's all this about, fellas? I'm missing the...
Look, there's been times where I think maybe things have been misread by myself, maybe by Lee. At the end of the day, it's all Town fans. I get that, but sometimes this constant badgering about my level 1 coaching badge and that, it's just gets a bit personal sometimes, and I just take it a little bit personal. Simple as I've
never mentioned that once.
Sorry.
Oh, you never mentioned that once. I thought you had a UEFA B license, mate. Honestly.
Apparently you've got to have all them to be knowledgeable about football. Apparently you've got to have all these poaching badges. Apparently, unless you've got them, you don't have an opinion.
But what is your opinion? Tell us. Tell the world.
What do you want me to talk about?
I don't know, mate. You clicked the link.
Ooh. Well, look,
whatever you
there's
want.
been a
The
lot-
platform
there's
is
been a lot
yours
of
to
talk-
speak, my
There's been a lot
friend.
of talk about this season, right? Now, I think there's a lot of short memories on when it comes to some of the fan base. There really is. We had Cook at the start of the season. I wanted him. Cruncher wanted him. Everybody was buzzing. He's brought in some good players. Let's not make no bones about that. His style of play, his plan A didn't work. We all know that. And the start, he's gone. Yeah, and we've been replaced by Kieran McKenna. And I said this to Cruncher earlier. Now McKenna's done one thing, right? One thing that what Paul Cook couldn't do, and that was shore up our defence. He really has shored up our defence. He's progressed Wolfenden, who I agree with Vicky. I was like, he's on his way out. I can't see him. But he's just been an immense defender, along with Edmondson. I thought Burgess has come in and stepped up to the plate. I know that, the header against Oxford, I wasn't angry about that. I was gutted because I thought, 1-0 at Oxford, that's going to reduce us down to 5 points, and there's still that little glimmer of hope.
Agreed.
But that goal at the end, that was unstoppable by the keeper. Could it have been defended better? I just think the ball was brilliant, and that's another thing, with us. We can't put crosses in the box. We can't take corners, can't take free kicks. And with respect, right, I said to Crunchy, watching some of the Sunday League football and some of the adult football that my boy plays, and I watch, and sometimes, watching that, these lads that go out on the piss on the night before, they turn up on a pitch, still half cut on a Sunday afternoon, and they're putting in decent balls in the box. You think, well, if they can do that, why can't players that are on 8 to 10 grand a week train every day? Why can't they do it
on good pitches?
And they're on good pitches, exactly right. These boys that are playing Sunday League football, they're playing on sometimes ploughed fields.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you.
And this thing that really gripes me. Look, I love McKenna. And I think there's a big misconception if I say anything negative about McKenna, is straight away on. Fisherman wants him sacked, wants him out, and all that. I don't want him sacked. I never said I wanted him sacked. What I said was he's got next season to get us promoted. If he doesn't get us promoted next year, right, realistically, do you really want another year in League One? Because if he can't get us promoted...
Oh, he will. He will. He's a fantastic manager.
I'm not saying he won't. I'll never say he will not get us promoted. But
I know what you're saying, though.
He's
got pressure.
Right,
yeah.
We look at the teams that have done well this year, right? They talk about, all the teams are playing. No, they're not. They're playing with one number 10 and often two strikers. Or two forwards, shall we say. Let's cut the strikers out. Let's go two forwards. We can play with one number 10, two forwards, right? And it's the same with a lot of teams in the Championship and a lot of teams in League One. The only teams that play with three forwards are the Man Cities, the Liverpools, the Chelseas. Why? Because they've got the best players in the world. They don't have the players that we have. The players that we have are never going to be to the standard of the players that play for Man City. Yeah. That is the bottom line. So and another thing about League One. It's a tough league for a reason. It's not just tough because it's hard to get out of. It's hard to get out of because of the teams you're playing against. You have to have plan B, plan A, plan B, plan C sometimes to get out of this league. I've seen it with other teams over the years.
Yeah.
Can I just come back on that a bit when he's finished?
Hang on. Let me read you something else. But that somebody posted on social media. I'll let you guess who wrote it. There's been a massive improvement. I'm just not happy with the formation up front. League One is not the Premiership. We need to be more rugged when going forward. Don't see any of our strikers on the last man badgering them. Do you know who wrote that?
Cruncher.
No. Sound familiar, Mike?
Does indeed. I wrote it.
You did. What do you do when you hear that, Lee? Has he got a point? Have we got enough? I'll call it know-how, savvy up front. Are we rugged, as he said?
Mike's not wrong in what he says about the way League One is and the way you can get out of it. And playing two up top and knocking the ball long to them is one way of doing it. But what I will say is we are not Man City, we are not Liverpool, we're not that. But in League One, with the players that we've got better technical players and we can dominate the ball more. And that's shown under McKenna. And I just think that, there are times to play two up front, but because we can break the lines, because we're playing the two forwards narrow behind the striker, two number 10s, however you want to call it, we can link the play up. We're playing through the lines and we're getting the ball into someone like Jackson. I mean, we hardly give the ball to Jackson in the air. When Jackson's played one up top previously under previous managers, every time the ball was lumped up, given up to him, it was knocked long. But we're not getting that. So it's that formation of playing those two, having Selena and I forgot his name again. Having Selena and Chaplin behind, you're getting or even the Luca plan there. You're getting that link up play. The problem we had was, or the problem we have is, one, we didn't get Morsey in the box, but we now are. The second point is we're not getting our left wing back into the box enough when we do get that ball. And that's down to the wing back having to. He did get there. He did get in there on Saturday. Our left side and our right side going forward is so lopsided.
Yeah, he's very limited, isn't he, Thompson?
You've got to remember, Donasian is a centre back of a 3, and he's crossing balls in from the baseline. We haven't got a left-sided centre back that can do that, so we are a bit lopsided. So what you'd really want, if the ball crosses can come in from the left, then you're probably likely to get more people in the box because of the way they go of the way they go forward. So that
is it intended though?
Go on, Neil.
I was wondering if it was intended though, because you think if you do the full on, both wide centre backs bombing up the pitch, crossing from the byline, that leaves you with Wolfenden on his own at the back. Obviously, you could say deep midfielders will drop in, but is it intended that we have a really good attacking side and another side that can just shuffle and fill in? You don't need both sides. It's only if one side gets nullified and then that's your ideas of the game gone, and then you'd need to change it up. But
a few more minutes and I'll bring Colin in.
Most people,
you become one-dimensional that way, and I think that's what's happened. But what you do is, if you went down the left, then your right full back or your right side centre back, Donasian, wouldn't go forward. He'd come back, wouldn't he? So you'd pivot round. That's how you would play. You would pivot. You would pivot them around. But we nearly got done. We nearly got done like that, Neil, really Saturday with Oxford in the first half because, like Mike has quite rightly said, with two up top, they sat either side of Wolfenden and they got a lot of space because we were our 3 centre backs spread out. So their 2 up top was causing us problems in the first half, without doubt.
Do you not think one of our holding mids should have filled in one of them gaps at the centre back? To help out with the centre backs if they're getting spread wide. Because whenever I've played 3 at the back with teams and that, right, I've always said, look, if one of our centre backs get pulled out, drop into space, and help them out, because that can help defensively. When we haven't got the ball, we need to close that space and close the lines down.
Yeah, we don't close it quick.
The thing is, when you say about being lopsided, I actually agree because I like Thompson, right? But my problem is, somebody said in the chat, I think, he is a left back playing wing back.
Yeah.
And he's not.
Lewis.
If he could improve his forward play and get to how many times can you honestly say that with this season, right, that we've gone to the byline and put a ball in?
We haven't. We absolutely haven't.
And that is a really good tactic if you get it right, because you got 2 things that can happen. One, you get the ball in, right? Okay, it don't always come off as a perfect ball or whatever, but if you can put just a half decent cross in, right, there's a good chance of someone making an attempt to try and score the goal. Or secondly, the ball gets deflected off a defender, ends up going out for a corner. So
well, that's no good.
A win-win situation, aren't you? But then again, if we could find someone that could take corners, that would be even better, wouldn't it? Let's be honest.
You could give us.
Are you talking about the left side, or are you talking about down the left side, or down both sides?
Both
sides.
Get to the
byline.
If you're playing,
we get to the byline every game, or down the right-hand side.
Down the right, we do.
Yeah, not down the left though.
No, down the left. The last time we did was Penny. Yeah, Penny was the last person to get down the left.
Gillingham.
But Penny's not great defending, is he? That's the problem.
No,
does he have to be though with 3 centre halves? Like as Mike D says here, if you're making the one up top argument, what about the 3 at the back against the likes of Doncaster? Like if you've got three at the back against your Cheltenhams, your Morecambes and co. No disrespect. Does he need to be the best defender in the world, or can he just be serviceable and going forward?
But even
Penny
makes
makes
sometimes are very. Even
Penny
Penny's
makes
balls are sometimes-
loads of mistakes.
He does. Yeah, he
you know, he's not. His
he
final
does.
ball isn't great either, though, is it, Martin?
He's no Bailey Clements, as Matt Stannard would say.
You know, so do we find someone
Matt
like
Richards.
Burns on the left hand side who would give us a bit more balance?
Yeah, possibly. Right, I'm going to bring Colin in. Lee, Mike, great.
All the
chat.
best, Lee.
Look
And you,
after
mate.
each other. Look after each other. Respect each other. But we love
We'll
you.
call it a
Great.
truce, yeah.
Absolutely. Look up.
We'll call it a truce, yeah.
I'm not said anything. I don't know what you're talking about, mate.
Take it off there. We love you. We appreciate you. Right. We've got some comments coming in regards to the old coaching badges. Mark Rattle, I've got 12 points in Scrabble. Lewis Robinson, I've got 9 points on my license. I've got a clean license. I'm doing well.
Me too.
Neil, you got a clean license?
I don't know how, but yeah.
You don't? Rob's a member of the Tufty Club. I'm a member of the Bodyguard Society. See, we're doing well, me and you, Rob. And Matt's got a 5-meter swimming badge. Either of you got anything you want to declare badges wise? You know, certificates? Done something that's great, Vicky?
I'm Scottish Open champion at judo.
You're not.
I am.
Fuck about.
Well, when I was 11.
Oh,
Not
okay.
quite recent. And it was because there was only one person in my category and I tripped her up and sat on her. But regardless, I am the champion.
There you go. Championi. Neil?
I have no idea.
Neil just finds it breathing an accomplishment, obviously, as you can see.
It is.
Lit-
I'm still breathing. Job's good.
You're absolutely doing all right. You're a great electrician. That's what we need.
I wouldn't take it that far.
Well, you've wired up the time machine for the platform. If you've not seen it, check it out. We've got Jason Clayton. Do you think McKenna cares what we think? Probably not. But we'll say it anyway. You know, it is what it is. I'm sure they listen. They listen in. They know what goes on. They know what's said. I can absolutely assure you of that. I know that. Irving, Gov's got a clean license. Can't get points. You never leave home. Irv, you've rumbled the secret. Right, Colin, welcome. How are you?
Hi, Colin.
Hi, Victoria. Hi, Neil. Yeah, not too
Hello.
bad. Can you hear me?
We can.
Yeah.
Loud and clear.
Still testing positive to COVID, unfortunately. And Venetia's not very good either. So, but yeah, we're on the show. That's the main thing.
Absolutely.
Right. I'd like to start off tonight, Gov, by saying, trying to be as positive as I possibly can, like I try to be, about the football we're actually playing. The football we're playing at the moment is really, really, really good. We haven't seen this kind of content and passing and movement within our club for a long, long time. And you know, yeah, and what we must do as supporters, we must what we're witnessing, we must really appreciate, because I can remember, and look, I don't want people picking glasses up. It's ridiculous. I can remember when Arnold first came to Portman Road. This is the prime example. And France wasn't there for a couple of months, but Arnold was, and we played Liverpool. It's the most famous game. We played Liverpool in the first division of the Football League. And after that game, Arnold went and knocked on Bobby's door. And he said, "We can't carry on like this, Bob. Mr. Robson." He said, "What's the matter, Arnold?" He said, "Well, I never got the ball. The whole game just kept going over my head." So the next training session, everything went through Arnold. Everything went through Walkie. Everything went through that midfield. And they played a way that only Ipswich Town have ever played ever since. But they played it. It didn't matter whether it was on that muck heap of a practice pitch we used to have, the back of the West End. Did it. And that, I think, is exactly what Kieran, our very, very, very good manager, is drumming into our players. We do it this way, and we do it this way only. And that's what they're trying to or Kieran's and Martin Pert are installing into that football club. And whether people like it or not, that's exactly how it's going to be. And that's exactly how it's going to stay. And it might even get us up this season. It might. It might.
Come on.
Martin, don't laugh at me, please.
I'm not laughing.
No. It's just me trying to sound positive. Our football, look, I know the managers, it's only hearsay. It's only people keep saying it. But managers are saying this for a reason. Carl Robinson said on Saturday, I never ever want to witness a second half like that with my football club again. In other words, they were pulverised from 45 to 92 or 95. That's what I want to hear. Cowley said exactly the same. Yes, we haven't been getting the results, but it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. And I'll tell you, somebody is going to cop it before long, big time. It might be Plymouth on Saturday. Plymouth are not brilliant, trust me. They are where they are, but they're not brilliant. They're missing two very good players again Saturday in Jeffcott and Kamara. Plymouth are there for the taking Saturday. Cambridge are there for the taking the following Saturday. We go to Shrewsbury, which I think will be a very difficult game, personally. Right? We can win them first, those next three games. Game on. And how we're playing, Martin, I'm trying to install it into everybody that we're playing well.
We are, but
we're capable. We're capable. We're capable of doing it.
How do you come to that conclusion, though? How?
Because we're playing very good football, Martin.
Yeah, but we're not winning games. We're not losing games, but
Martin,
to win 7 on the bounce, to win 6,
Martin,
5,
Martin,
you need a run.
Martin, I'm not disagreeing with you, but all we need is that little bit of luck. We didn't get it on Saturday. We didn't get it against Portsmouth. You was there, Martin.
Yeah.
Any bit of luck whatsoever, we'd have won that game 3 or 4-0. Portsmouth were awful. You know that.
If I had a bit of luck, though, Colin, I wouldn't be sat and doing this show. I'd be on a beach in the Bahamas. You know, I would have won the lottery by now. Like, I get it what you're saying, and I love it because it's positivity and you're not giving in. But it does almost sound like you're setting. You're just prolonging the agony. Like, we're all coming to terms with it, and it's disappointing. It's flat. It's whereas you're just sort of pushing it back, kicking that can down the road. I want you to be right. I absolutely want you to sit here and say, "I bloody told you so."
But I just don't think it's going to happen. But I'll tell you what, Martin. I'm right in as much as nobody in that first division, including Rotherham and Wigan, nobody in that first division. I won't have it if you disagree. There's nobody in the first division playing better football than we are right now. Nobody. I'll tell you what, Plymouth will be shaking in their boots for Saturday. I'll tell you, they'll have had... Wait a minute, Martin. Don't make the faces at me, please.
Shaking in their boots?
Plymouth will have had scouts at that game on Saturday for the game this Saturday. And I've watched Plymouth. I would have money with anybody on Saturday that Town take Plymouth out.
I'd rather be where Plymouth are, though, Colin.
Sorry, Vic?
Yeah.
Said I'd rather be where Plymouth are.
We are the world's best 9th place team, without a doubt.
Victoria, that's a different argument. That goes back to the boring stats about, which are right, don't get me wrong, that goes back to the boring stats about what people blah, blah, blah on about the start of the season, which are absolutely true. Don't get me wrong, but it's history. It's gone. What we have to focus on now, and Wes Burns and Macaulay Barn and Kieran McKenna and Luke Wolfenden and all them boys will be absolutely focusing now on winning 7 games of football.
Well, they haven't won the last few.
Victoria, if Victoria, I love you to death, darling. I'm trying to make a point. If those players, which they definitely won't be, are not focused on winning 7 games, you give up. But they won't give up, like I won't give up, and that is exactly what we don't want. We want focus on winning that game on Saturday, and then we go from there. Look, I'll tell you what, if everybody right now thinks we're going to be in the first division next season, what is the use in going on Saturday? There's no use.
Of course there is. You still support the team.
Of course you do.
Up or down, isn't it?
You go to win every game. And they're capable of winning 7 games of football.
But they've not won 3 in a row all season long.
If we still had Cook in charge, I would have written off the season. But we haven't. McKenna and everything around the club seems more positive at this moment. So, it's just we can win games. We're playing great football. We just needing the results to go our way. And I say, as things are so positive, we just need to be, keep behind the boys and see how it works out.
At the moment, I'm positive. I'm a really positive person, and I love the football that we're playing right now. I absolutely do.
Agreed.
But I'm also a realist, and the teams above us are playing better because they are playing better because they're in a better position.
They're not playing better football. I'm not having that.
Well, no, maybe not better football, but they're winning games. So what I'm saying is I'd rather be winning games and in the top 6 than where we are playing.
Yeah.
They're more consistent. They're more consistent at winning games.
Victoria, my little dear, winning games is not the same as playing great football. You can play great football and not win games. Martin knows that. But you're absolutely right, Victoria. You're absolutely right. You can play rubbish and win 1-0 every week. I totally agree with you. Okay?
McCarthy.
Yes. But I would, how we're playing and we've got draws, Davis are absolutely right. Absolutely right. But playing the way we are, it will turn. It will turn. It's got to turn. Because defensively, most of these sides are not capable of defending our kind of play, which was exactly what happened when we scored our first goal. Yes, should we have put the game to bed? Yes, we should.
Yeah.
But like that goal we scored at Oxford Saturday, I wish I had a ticket. I couldn't go because of COVID. Yeah. I wish I'd have been there to see that goal live. Because I'll tell you what, there's not many build-ups and not many finishes and production of play that has been any better than that in the first division all this season.
Yeah.
That was a great goal. And I'll tell you, if they replicate that on Saturday, Plymouth are in for a long Saturday.
Okay. All right. You said about it, you've got to believe things will turn. And I think you're absolutely right. And I tell you what, things will also turn around if you go to Woodpecker Mortgages and Protection. Your wallet will become much heavier with the money that Graham could save you. Graham is an Ipswich Town fan, lifelong. He wants to help you save money by either remortgaging, moving, maybe get on the property ladder for the first time. He also does home insurance, income protection, private medical insurance. So please do go and check Woodpecker Mortgages and Protection out if you want to turn your home finances around. But please be aware, if you do not keep up repayments on your house, Vicky, it may be repossessed. So make sure the mortgage is paid before the gym is topped up. But you can contact him with all the details on the screen. Woodpecker Mortgages and Protection. Link is also in the chat. In all honesty, do check him out if you want to save yourself some money potentially, because it is hard out there. £1.70 for a fucking piece of petrol. Shocking. Absolutely shocking. What are you paying at the moment, Neil? Out in the sticks?
I think the one nearest is 177. Yeah, I normally go round to the Tesco's at Copdock when I can.
Yeah,
that's one thing, Martin, about getting COVID and not having to go to Oxford.
Well, that is true, my dear boy. Yes, that is a very real reason. Yeah, yeah. We've got
another thing, Martin, I'd like to say.
Hang on, Colin. I want to bring the chat in as well. Martin. Tim Malden, if you split the league season into two halves, where would he be in the second half table? I'm sure he'd be the top 6. Yes, I think we would. Matt has done that. I will find that for you. David Cook, Macaulay Bond looks sharp on Saturday. If he can find his scoring boots and we avoid further injuries, it is very plausible that we could win the next 7 games. Heidi, the top 6 are better than us. Waiting for them to step up is looking more and more unlikely. We have to be realistic. That's the opinion, Colin. Let's respect it. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I'd happily see us play ugly and win 1-0 rather than play world beaters and draw. That's just Britain, Gov. Coxie, keep your politics to yourself, son.
I think what Colin's trying to say is that if we keep driving hard as a club, playing this great style of football, it's just inevitable that things will change and the results will start coming our way.
Yeah, I think he is as well. I think he's well. Go on. One last time.
No, Gov, I'm just trying to make the program interesting and great football.
You mean it's not already? That's outrageous. Outrageous. Colin, have a laugh. Come on.
Yeah, all right. Of course I am. But look, I want to try and explain to the younger viewers. When Butcher played it into Mirren, and that lovely little turn, Mirren into Tyson into Gates's feet back to goal. Little turn, Gatesy, little ball into Brazil. Go. Look, don't you want to watch that kind of football? Don't you want to watch sexy football? If you play that kind of football, you play the passing game, you play it to feet, you've got players who can turn. I'm not going to mention people's names. I'm never going to do that anymore. I said it and I won't. If you're playing it into feet, especially with back to goal, with especially the player that we're going to honour on Saturday, strongest, best player with his back to goal I ever did see, maybe apart from Eric Gates, but the strongest centre forward I ever know. If you played it into PM, it stuck. And when it stuck, it hit his chest, it came down. He either had a look and put Gates in, or he put Tyson in on the overlap, or he put Brazil in, or he turned himself. He had a little bit of room and had a poke himself. Strongest bloke. Look, you cannot have a side, right, if you've got the great players who can manipulate the ball, which Town have got now. If you're playing through people like Burnsy, playing through Chapman, playing through Selena, playing through Aluko, it's no good if you haven't got that end product, which is exactly what I was trying to say the other day about, I'm not going to mention names. We know the kind of players that we need at the football club, whether it be in the first division next season or the championship. If it's in the championship, we even need somebody probably a little bit more expensive, what I mean, to get up into that top 6 in the championship. Because if we go in the championship, there's no way in the world do I want Ipswich Town to be starting to think, which I'm sure they won't be, starting to think, we'll be like a mid-table championship side. No, we want to be looking for the top 6 championship and pressing on towards that Premier League. But the football we're playing is really, really good. It's just at the moment, and I think most people will agree, the end product is there to a certain extent. But if you've got the lovely football where we're playing at the feet and we're doing our little turns and everything and getting the ball, we've got to make sure. That's like I'm saying about the great side. If you got it over to France or something like that, and he played that ball in, 9 times out of 10 you'd have Brazil, Mariner, Gatesy, especially those three. You'd have busting a gut.
All right, Colin,
And
in a shock to the universe. Sorry, Colin. Hang on.
top of each other in 6 car parks. You know.
Hang on. To a shock to the universe, I've got somebody waiting to come on. Didn't expect to see this man tonight.
Is Colin still going? Are you still going on, Colin?
Oh, I love my collaboration. How are you, mate?
Richard.
I'm all right. How is everyone?
We're good. We're just listening to a walk through the time machine.
Are we all nice and calm tonight after last night's events?
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. Oh, yeah, we're not talking to each other. Go away. No, it's absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. You've been listening to the referee. Yeah, how did it go tonight, refereeing?
Yeah, nice and easy, mate. Nice and easy. Easy money.
Yeah, easy. Well, there you go. Don't forget to put it back into the Ko-Fi. Colin has been talking about not giving up. 7 wins. It's possible. Before we close, what do you think?
Hang on. I just see a pig fly by, Colin.
I want to know where Andrew Plum is in your house. Like, where you're in the living room. Where's Andrew? Is he? Because he's typing away saying round 2 commence. Is he in the same room as you, Colin?
No, he's in his bedroom.
Ah, fair enough. Blow him a kiss, says Robert Wilson. Can we see the pink boot, says Matt Stannard.
We're in the car, mate.
Nowhere else would you get this level of quality.
And they're red.
They're not. They're pink. They're pink. So are we going to make the playoffs or not, Rich?
Not a chance.
Not a chance. What? Even if we have Muren and Gates up front?
Colin, we all love Colin, and Colin is ultra positive. You know, like you said before, Gov, if Portman Road was burning down, Colin would still be positive. But look, we have to be realistic, Colin. It is possible. It is possible. Yeah, we're playing good football. We're not scoring enough goals, which is a problem, and we all know that. And hopefully that'll be addressed in the summer.
Totally agree with that.
But you look at, 5 draws in? Is it 8, Martin? We've got.
Yeah, too many.
Yeah, you know that's. Marcus is. He's been let out to play. Mike D. He was on the radio Saturday.
He's got to earn his keep, isn't he? He's got to earn his keep, Rich.
Exactly. But yeah, look, we all want to hope that we get in there, but I heard you saying, Colin, we're playing great football. We are playing great football, but Vicky was correct. It is all about, like, we want to be where Plymouth are, and it is all about winning. It is, at the end of the day, it is about winning, isn't it, really?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with that.
We'll leave it there. It's all about winning. We're back tomorrow. Rich, tell the people at home what is going on tomorrow.
Tomorrow night, 7:30, Tristan Nydam. We've got Tristan on. I don't know if Gov's in on. Are you on in this one or not?
No, I am behind the scenes producing. You've got
myself, Matt, and Callie.
And King Callie Bisler.
And then at 20:45 hours, it is Talking Cricket. I know Vicky's a big cricket fan.
God.
You see, while you're talking about the wooden bat and the ball and talking to Tristan, I will be talking to Mr. Moles and the Don about his stag do. So
we're going to Germany.
We don't know yet. We're discussing it. Possibly Dusseldorf.
Yeah, I'd see Robbie on Saturday, and I was talking to. I said, if you're going to see a game, make sure you make the game this time.
I've already put my request.
Neil, come on. What's Neil going to be wearing? More to the point.
Well, we haven't decided. That's what the conversations will do.
There's a guy at Fleetwood wearing a full Norwich kit, Neil. If you fancy it.
To be fair, that wouldn't bother me. I don't like them, but who cares?
Oh, what a way to end the show.
That's sacrilegious.
That is. Right, we're back tomorrow. Rich, Colin, love you both. Appreciate you both. Thanks for coming on.
See you later.
Rich. Look after yourselves. Right, we're back to 3. Don't forget, you can support the platform through Ko-Fi. Please do consider doing so. Nowhere else would you get Vicky Henderson, Neil Moles, The Cruncher, Colin, walking you through the fabled history of Ipswich Town FC. Nowhere else would you get the co-host tearing lumps off each other. It's Talking Town. It's live. It's unscripted. It's what we do. So if you want to support us, please do so. But we are back tomorrow with love, with care. He is Mr. Positivity when he can be bothered. And that is No Filter Yorkshire V. We'll see you tomorrow.
We're on a journey, looking back on the things that we've taken for granted, but feels like we're learning to be better without what's been holding us back now. Let's move closer to a new history.